Welcome to Suzuka in Japan for the bad start. We're here to do the Wednesday races at Suzuka. We're doing the warm up here, about a minute and a half of the warm up. We'll watch here while I ramble on. We have a grid of 10 cars, I do believe, and it promises to be a great race. Suzuka is a very challenging track, very exciting track. A lot of good racing can be had. I just burped there. Yes, I did. And this is also the first video I'm putting up using the spectator mode. So, for those who don't know about the spectator mode, it basically allows us to use a TV camera. The downside is it has to be filmed during the race, and that means that I've not been able to race on my awesome gaming PC because it's the only one that can record the race without dying. So I've been playing on my laptop the last couple of races. The championship is really starting to take shape with Martin Lauer being the dominant force in the Drivers' Championship. But we cannot rule out Alex Hayes. We cannot rule out Wesley Stokes. We cannot rule out Mike Mark. I think those three are still very much alive in the championship hunt. And the battle for the Silver Cup is also going pretty well with Mike Magus, Dean Reimers, Dule Markovic, and Stefan Gervais, who we are now riding with right now in the black Audi there, representing Project Velocity. Project Velocity, by the way, a chance to take home the driver's title. They have Stokes and Hayes on the team, and they have Gervais going after the Silver Cup. They are the only team that I believe can take both. Oh, no. Dean Reimers and, of course, Martin Lauer, the teammates at Dynamo Links Racing, can also take home both titles. So warm-up is done, and we're heading into the race. It's going to be a 15-minute race, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 laps. Cars are taking to the grid. Martin Lauer is the man on pole there. You can see him in the Audi. The Audis have been very dominant here. You can see in the background Alex Hayes, Wesley Stokes also very high up on the grid as well. They're going to be starting from P4 and P5. It's not a complete loss. Mike Mark's been in the mix in his Corvette. He's been doing quite well. But it's definitely a track that heavily favors the Audis, and they can just do some things that other people cannot do. You can see 4 Audis, 4 Audis in the top 5. Lowest qualifying Audi on the grid is P4 Alex Hayes, and they are off, and here we go into the first corner. Looks like Martin Lauer has retained the lead ahead of Mike Mark. Good start by him. We're riding with Mark Klapzool at the back of the pack. He has not gotten one of his trademark great starts and is behind Mike Magasevich and Rick Martel. Now riding with Wesley Stokes, who has gotten a very good start. He's up to third, having passed Australia's Dean Reimers in position, and is now up on his great rival, representing the Spitfires, Mike Mark in the Corvette C7 Callaway. Martin Lauer, though, is getting away, and Martin Lauer has been unstoppable at Suzuka in his career. It's a track that he's had complete dominance over, whether it was in the DTM era or the BMW Z4 era. He's just absolutely been rocking it, and he's in the Audi, which we talked about being such a powerful car here. There are 5 Audis in the top 6. It's insanity. I mean, there's just not really much that you can say really about the dominance of the Audi brand here today. Markovic, Martel, Magasevich, and Klapzool rounding out the base. The current leader in the Silver Cup is Dean Reimers, who's up there in the orange and black Audi. In second place in the Silver Cup is the black car of Stefan Gervais. They are sandwiching championship contender and Gervais' teammate Alexander Hayes right now. We had a Silver Cup winner last time out with Mike Magasevich taking the second race at Bridge. His first win, ending a tremendous drought that has extended pretty much since the start of the league. He's, been a founding member and has had the longest drought without being able to take home a victory. Lauer still leading from Mike Mark, from Wesley Stokes, Dean Reimers, Alex Hayes, Stefan Gervais, Dule Markovic, Rick Martel, Mike Magasevich, and Mark Klapzool. Seems to have largely settled down in that regard. This is the 10 guys. Reimers getting passed by Alex Hayes there. He went wide, and Hayes slips up into 4th place, and it looks like Gervais is trying to follow his teammate through on Reimers, which would be a change in lead in the silver category. Wesley Stokes, this is Gervais we're riding on board with. I was going to say, this is not the right position for him. Gervais is on the tail of Dean Reimers. That is for 5th place and the lead in the Silver Cup. Markovic, Magasevich, and Klapzul are also there. 5 Silver Cup eligible cars in the field today. For those who are unfamiliar with the Silver Cup, it's for the less distinguished, less accomplished drivers in the field, and they're the ones that are looking to graduate to the Gold Cup overall. Although everyone does compete in the overall Gold Cup. But it is, generally speaking, between the Gold Cup certified drivers who are in a position to take the championship race wins and so on. It is still Lauer leading from Mark, Stokes, Hayes, Reimers, Gervais, Markovic, Martel. Klapzul has passed Mike Magasevich at some point. Those two are falling back. They can't seem to really keep up. Just one Mercedes in the field today, that being the Fast Tech car of Mike Magasevich. It looks like Rick Martel has had it off as he's losing 8th place to Mark Klapzul. The Dutchman is on the charge, but I don't really know if he can get much higher. He is about 5 seconds behind Markovic, who is in 7th place in the Porsche 911. Wesley Stokes still trying to get a valuable spot against Mike Mark. Him and Mike Mark have been battling since these two entered the league, basically. They are one of the classic rivalries in Zero. Markovic is also starting to lose the back here. It looks like he may have gone off, actually. So it is really Corvette. The one Corvette, Mike Mark, alone in a sea of Audis. 5 Audis in the top 6. It's ridiculous how strong this car has been here at this round in Suzuka. And let's be honest, credit to the drivers as well. Suzuka is a demanding circuit, and these guys have absolutely delivered at a high level here today to take these positions. We ride with Alex Hayes in 4th place. You can see also the fastest laps everyone has put up. Wesley Stokes at 2:10.379. Martin Lauer is starting to scamper away. I mean, it's only 2.4 seconds, but we're a third of the way through the race, and he has gotten some gaps going. So look out for him to start sprinting away. Martin Lauer, we've said it before, very fast guy, championship leader, and not the greatest at attacking traffic, but when it comes to being out in front and just disappearing, there are few better than Martin Lauer, just absolutely taking the life out of you. Stokes getting very close to Mike Mark into the hairpin. Looks like there was a little bit of lost ground there for Lauer. He lost maybe 2/10 of a second through that section. So maybe a little bit weak there. Maybe that's something the guys chasing can use. But not really much going on right now in terms of action at the front. And yeah, you can see that Lauer is pulling ahead about 3 seconds to 3.5 seconds, trying to disappear down the road for the Dynamo Lynx crew. His teammate Dean Reimers is in 5th place. Actually, a double win, class win for them here, because Reimers, of course, is the top man in the Silver Cup in this race, followed by Stefan Gervais and Dule Markovic. Stokes is looking to make a move here into the final section. Wants to get past this Corvette. Now, the Corvette should be stronger in the straightaways than the Audi. It is clocked it better in the speed, but the Audi's handling is second to none here on this track. So look for Stokes to get close and maybe make a move into some of the tighter sections of the track. Corvette's still holding them up. Now 4.5 seconds roughly behind race leader Martin Lauer. Looks like Hayes had a slight moment there, slid wide, but Dean Reimers was unable to capitalize to go up to 4th place. Rounding off the field, it is still outside of this battle here for 2nd place. We have Stefan Gervais, Dule Markovic, Mark Klapzul, Rick Martel, and Mike Magasevich back at the back of the pack. Now the consolation, race 2 does have the reverse grid. 10th place does get pole. Lauer made a little bit of a mistake there and has dropped, his gap has shrunk to a little bit under 4 seconds now, 4.5 roughly. but still a very comfortable lead. And one that he seems to be able to maintain and extend largely at will. He's been able to kind of bounce it up to about 4.8 at one point. Now it's down to 3.5 as he gets into some sections. But you can see the gap there between him and the red and white Corvette. It's pretty significant right now. So the battle is really on for second place between Mark Stokes, Hayes, and Reimers. Background, the two Europeans are getting a little bit close together as Mark Klapsula has closed the gap to less than 2 seconds to the Porsche of Dule Markovic. Stokes trying to go down the inside. He takes a much tighter line through here than Mike Mark, but he can't seem to make it stick. He needs that little bit of extra grunt heading into the turn to try to get at least a bit of an overlap before he can really commit to the move. Otherwise, it's just going to end in tears. And, you know, he doesn't want that. Yeah, he's got his teammate behind him right there in Alex Hayes, but Alex Hayes is as much a rival of his as anyone else. Oh, speaking of ending in tears, Stokes has clipped Mike Mark, and they're off. Alex Hayes is up into second place. Reimers maybe is another big loser in this. It looks like he's had some problems getting through and is actually not really improved at all, really. He's taken Wesley Stokes, who's dropped down to 6th place, really out of this. But it's now Hayes, followed by Mike Mark, who somehow has retained 3rd. Dean Reimers is sporting a little bit of damage on the front end, so he's had some contact at some point and is ahead of Stefan Gervais and Wesley Stokes. Horrible blow for Stokes and a big blow for Mike Mark. We'll see if Hayes can maybe do something about Lauer out at the front. You can see the damage to the front end of Wesley Stokes' car there. The right front bumper very dented in. Wonder if that will impact his aerodynamics in any way. This is a track that does demand something out of the aerodynamics. A lot of high-speed corners where that comes in handy. You can see also the very banged-up front of Dean Reimers. We did not see how he got that. But definitely a damage to the Dynamo Lynx Audi there in 3rd, who's in 4th place right now, and it is the top silver man right ahead of this man, Stefan Gervais, who's in 5th place and looking to get a promotion. Nothing much going down from 7th through to 10th. I was alluding earlier that Mark Klapsula might have a chance to run up on Dule Markovic. It doesn't appear to be the case. The gap is extended to about 4 seconds between the two of them. Looks like either Klapsula made a mistake or Markovic has just kind of put the hammer down. We know that Porsche can be very fast. They go through the chicane to end the lap. We're running down a time here. We're down to about 4.5 minutes to go. It's going to be 2-3 laps probably. Because, of course, we had the +1 lap rule here in 0. Lauer is still leading, and it doesn't look like Hayes is able to keep with him. He got through when Mark and Stokes had their tangle, and it looks like he'll take 2nd comfortably, but the gap is out to about 7.3 seconds at this point between him and 1st place. I think Lauer is taking this one home. Still avoiding the all-Audi podium is the desperate attempts of Mike Mark here in the Spitfire car. The Audis are very fast at this track. There is the man who got into the back of Mike Mark and caused the accident. Wesley Stokes, a little bit banged up. We talked about Dean Reimers also having a bit of a banged up car. We're wondering how their performance is being impacted. I would say that Reimers has been impacting negatively because he seemed to have Stefan Gervais covered off in the early going. But Gervais is all over the back end of him now. I don't know if that's the damage to the car or maybe just a difference in how worn the tires are. Gervais, by the way, putting up a 2:04.448. Contact! Gervais spins out Reimers, and that gives him the Silver Cup lead, but he's going to give a spot to Wesley Stokes. It looks like, no, fighting back against his Project Velocity teammate. By the way, Project Velocity is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, or 2nd, 4th, and 5th in the race, doing very well for the team standings. Reimers off the track, that's a big deal. Klapsula's lost 8th place to Rick Martel at some point. Looks like a mistake was made there. We were talking about him earlier being about 5 seconds behind Dule Markovic. He is now about 8 seconds behind Dule Markovic. And Martel's actually closer to Markovic, so I wonder if Markovic may have also had a moment. I don't know. Either that or Rick Martel is just putting in some great laps down there in 8th place. Wesley Stokes all over the back of Stefan Gervais, these two Project Velocity teammates going head to head. Stokes is a championship contender. Gervais is not so much. He's been away for a little bit, missed some time this season, and it's really hampered his championship claims. But he is in a Silver Cup battle as well. But it's really with Dean Reimers, who's the car behind Wesley Stokes. So will team orders come into play here in terms of this battle for fourth place? Reimers appears to not really have anything for them at this point. I mean, it's not ridiculous. He's only about 2.2 seconds down, so he's still very much in sight. You can see him there in the orange and black Audi. But it looks like either his tires are gone or that damage to his front end is really holding him up. Stokes putting the pressure all over the back at this point of Stefan Gervais. Banged up car. Doesn't seem to be affecting the aero though. He's got good pace. And looking to make a move maybe into the hairpin, but he's looking to set up to go around the outside at the hairpin. I'm not really sure if that's it. Mark Klabzul, in the meantime, is in a fight with Rick Martel. We've not seen these guys really all race. And they got Mike Magasevich for company in the back. This is the battle for first, second, and third on the grid for race 2, of course. Gervais did lose the spot to Stokes, so congratulations to Stokes. A little bit annoyed at my cameraman for taking us away from this battle right when the move was probably happening to go take a look at a fight that, I mean, is interesting. Don't get me wrong. Rick Martel had gotten ahead of Mark Klabzul. Mark Klabzul is now ahead of him again. So, by all means, give me this fight. But I really wanted to see how that was going to play out between Gervais and Stokes. Podium seems largely decided. You've got about a 9-second gap between first and second place, and about 4 seconds further back to Mike Mark, who's got about a 3.5 second lead over Wesley Stokes and Stefan Gervais. Gervais is falling back as well at this point. Reimers doesn't seem to really have anything for the top 5. In fact, I think he's losing ground to Dule Markovic. He's now, I think, only about 4 or 5 seconds behind him. But I don't think it's sufficient to do it in what is going to be about one more lap. Weird to think that Stokes' car is coming more into its own with that front end damage than Gervais. But anyways, the battle for 8th place continues. Mark Klabzul, Rick Martel. We're talking about the Mike Mark, Wesley Stokes rivalry. There's plenty in it between Rick Martel and Mark Klabzul as well. Two absolute veterans of Zero, pillars of the community. And they've been known to have a couple scraps as well. So we'll see if the McLaren 650S has anything for that Corvette. We've seen that the Corvette's got power. There's one up on the podium. So Klabzul's got a car under him that can do some things. He's just not necessarily found his groove at this track. Lauer's still leading away, about 8 seconds up. I think it's at this point academic that he can take the race. It will be from Hayes, Martel, Stokes, Gervais, Reimers, Markovic. I think the real battle is this one that we're watching right now for 8th place between Mark Klabzul and Rick Martel. And right behind them is the Mercedes AMG of Mike Magasevich, who would love to see a little bit of carnage maybe to get him into this. He's been kind of nowhere this race. I don't think he's been above 9th place the entire time. Down at 10th right now, but slated to go on the pole. Rick Martel goes for a wide move. It doesn't work, but he's got to switch back. And, oh, he goes into the wall! On the last lap, Rick Martel goes into the wall. Mike Magasevich says, thank you very much. I will take the extra point. He is the Silver Cup leader and finally a race winner as of last race. Lauer still leading it from Hayes. Mike Mark. Stokes has actually closed in a lot on Mike Mark. I didn't think that there would be a battle here. It doesn't look like we're really going to get a battle. But Wesley Stokes definitely showing some pace in this last lap to really get into the shot of the podium. Have to wonder what would happen if him and Mike Mark had not come into contact with each other. But it's going to be Lauer, Hayes, Mark, Stokes, Gervais, Reimers, I believe is also crossed the line. We will have Markovic in 7th place. By the way, Gervais, the winner of the Silver Cup from Reimers, and Markovic, Klabzul, Magasevich, and Rick Martel rounding out the field. Martel will start on pole for race 2 here at Suzuka. Bit of celebration there for Mark Klabzul taking home in 8th place. A difficult race for him. I think a worthwhile celebration. didn't seem to really click. That car was up to it, but it didn't seem like he had it clicking. Anyways, there is your final results heading into race 2. A big win for championship leader Martin Lau.